Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Splitting the G. They allowed us to do one more here. We're coming to you live from the Madison Lounge on 39th and Madison, right upstairs from Mulligan's. Please come when you can. You'll love it. I'm honored today to have Craig Sloan, CEO of Playfly Sports, with us. Craig, welcome.
Thank you.
It's
Pleasure
great
to be here.
It's great to have you here on Splitting the G. So, you know what's going on here. We're going to talk a little business. Then we're going to split the G.
Okay.
I didn't do it last time, but I've been practicing, people. I'm ready to do it this time. And then, of course, we're going to have a little fun after that. So, but let's get started. So, Craig, I always like to find out a little bit more about my guests. So, born and raised, is it Colorado, or where are you from originally?
I grew up in Buffalo.
You grew up in Buffalo?
Buffalo, New York. Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, until I was 15.
Okay.
So my formative years there, moved in the middle of high school to Chicago.
Okay.
So that was sort of my childhood, and then just kept going west before coming back east.
I like that. And that's the Iowa connection, because I know you went to Iowa.
I did.
I know one thing I was looking at before we met today was there's so many great traditions in college football, but the one I love the most, I know it wasn't happening when you were there, is the Hawkeye Wave.
Way to point out that I went there a long
time
ago.
I mean,
it
was only started 10 years ago, Craig, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But it's a great tradition. For those of you who don't know about it, at the end of the first quarter, I believe, there's a children's hospital right by the stadium there, and all the crowd just waves to the kids, which I think is just amazing. It's a great tradition. Love Iowa. So I wanted to get to Iowa a little bit. So Iowa, obviously, Big Ten school.
Yep.
Was that kind of why maybe you entered into the sports field?
It was certainly different. So my parents went to small Catholic schools in upstate New York, between Buffalo and Rochester, New York.
I probably know them. Yes,
probably know them.
Yes.
Exactly. And then so I didn't have any feel or understanding of what a big school would be like.
Sure.
But once you move to Chicago, you're basically in the 3-hour radius of Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Purdue, Indiana. You're going to a Big Ten school. I happened to find Iowa City, and it fit me like a glove.
Great.
And so I knew everything that I wanted in a school, including the aesthetics, was just captured in Iowa City, and made that decision relatively easy.
Okay.
And it didn't hurt that the sports programs, to your point, were very good at the time as I was coming in. So the basketball team and the football team were both preseason, highly ranked.
Very good. That was the Hayden Fridays,
Hayden Fridays,
I looked at Iowa. Iowa, in the last 50 years, has had only 2 football coaches, I think. It's Hayden Fry and Kirk.
Yeah, Ferentz. Yeah,
that's crazy when you think about all these other programs that have had a lot, including my Syracuse Orangemen, by the way. But we'll get in. That's another podcast.
The orange.
I'm sorry. No, that's great, because I haven't been to Iowa City. Heard great things about it. I've been to Champaign.
Yeah, not the prettiest town. Sorry for anybody watching that.
And I've been to Ann Arbor, which two probably rivals of. But those are my two Big Ten.
You need to get to Iowa City.
I got
a little bit extra to go across the Mississippi and get into Iowa, but it's rolling hills, river running right through the middle of campus, the Gothic
sounds Western New Yorkish a little bit.
It's very nice.
It's got that kind of sense to it,
and it's just as cold. So,
I know. I'm going to fit. I'll fit right in. I love it. Obviously, Iowa sports. Caitlin Clark, which we'll talk about her a little bit. But would you say she's probably the most famous Iowa?
Sure.
Athlete?
Hard.
I did a look. B.J. Armstrong.
One.
He
was there when I was there.
He won a couple championships with the Bulls. But I think she just kind of elevated that program and probably Iowa sports to another level. Right?
Anytime you're talking about the Michael Jordan of your respective sport, I think you're in.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
So let's get into your career a little bit here. So after Iowa, I mean, was the Denver Grizzlies your first job?
Yeah. Okay. So I move out to Denver, go to work in a very non-glamorous seat. I started so Denver Grizzlies was a minor league hockey team at the time, before the Colorado Avalanche.
Before the Avalanche moved from Quebec, I believe, right?
Yeah, Quebec City. So the Nuggets were in the same building. Yep. It was an antiquated old building. I loved it, but it was antiquated. So we shared space with the Nuggets. And then I was in a room with no windows, cell blocks, essentially was what it felt like. And had a phone and was told, go sell some tickets.
Sell tickets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck. And I happened to be decent at it. And then good enough that I went to our president of the team at the time, who ended up becoming a lifelong friend and mentor. And then I ended up buying his company at Playfly.
Oh, wow.
It's a full circle moment. Yeah.
Full circle.
But I got into corporate sales. And that's when I knew oh, that's where I wanted.
That's where I wanted to be. Sure.
Yeah. So
sure.
I love the sponsorship and marketing side of the equation.
Yep.
Tickets were good. Sponsorships to me were just more compelling and interesting. So got into that space and then quickly fell in love. And yeah.
And that led you to, like, I know you with Fox Sports,
Yeah,
and
media,
Hometown, right, and like a lot
yeah.
of the regional sports networks, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Any of the local coverage across the country.
Yep.
So I started on the local side in Denver. We had the Nuggets, Avalanche, and Rockies, which was
Okay.
just a great time to be in Denver.
Yep.
The Avalanche moved to town. They win a Stanley Cup. The Broncos are winning a couple Super Bowls. The Nuggets are the ace seed, knocking off a 1 seed.
It's got to be the Craig Sloan factor.
It was unbelievable.
Right?
And
Yes.
and by the way, it didn't hurt that every company was moving to Denver at the time, and it felt like every night the news was positive. So I could not have had a better experience in my 20s. But I also had good mentors, and anybody who might be watching, like, I think if you're in your 20s and you don't have a mentor, go find one.
Go find one.
Somebody that you trust and that you can talk to, because I moved to the media side solely because of one recommendation of a person that was a sports executive on the team side.
Really?
That I trusted. He said, you just, to get more well-rounded, go get some media experience. You can always come back to the team side. I did, and it took me a long time to get back, but I really found myself in that media side of the equation. So I started there, doing it locally. Then I moved over to the national side, moved to Los Angeles, and then just started overseeing more and more of the opportunity at Fox Sports with all these local broadcasts across the country. We built a business and a platform, and now a synthetic network of multiple things that have been expounded upon at Playfly. So that's how it's
and that's how you're here now. So before we get more into Playfly and your experience now, I always ask when I meet CEOs, I say, because I read an article, CEOs get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're working out, they're getting ready for their day, they're meditating. Can you tell me a little bit about Craig Sloan's typical day?
Charlie's not 4 now. I can tell you that. So it might be because I have too many of these. But no, I'm an early riser, and then I like to get in the city early on the days that I'm here locally, and I travel, as you can imagine, a fair amount. But it's more of the idea that this is a lifestyle job. So I sort of understand when I open my eyes, that's basically starting my day. That could go into the evenings, and there might be games, which isn't terrible, and you're going with clients or whatever the case is. But a fair amount of this is truly a lifestyle job, and if it's a passion point, you're not really complaining. But I will say it's a pretty big commitment to sit in this seat in particular.
It definitely is. I mean, and when you can find a job that's, not work, that doesn't seem like work to you. You're going to games, you're entertaining clients, it's sports, it's fun.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we all strive to do.
I'm certainly not upset.
I like that. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the sports news going on right now, and then I want to talk more about Playfly. But World Cup, just finished here. Huge success based on the numbers. We had 42 million people watch the U.S.-Belgium quarterfinal, most ever watching a soccer game here in the States. The 62 million for the final. But what are your thoughts about, like, the MLS, and how come, like, all of a sudden there's a drop off? Like, everyone, I know it's patriotic, I get it, but why do you think that just as Americans we can't kind of get behind soccer?
Well, let me start with the positives, right?
Sure.
To your point. So and Playfly, like we do in many ways, are a backbone service sort of behind the scenes for big sports events, properties, brands. And so in this particular case, we supported in a big way a gentleman, executive on my team, John Christick, came in and really helped galvanize the U.S. and even more than that, the North American host city, potential cities.
Oh, really? Okay.
Did a great set of advisory work and helped many of them win that opportunity to host, which was going to be obviously an economic boon for those cities, and really ultimately at the end of the day put a lot of those cities on the map for the soccer world. And so international people coming in. And so really proud of the work that he and our team did in that space. And it went off really, if you think about it, security, all the potential things that could have been a problem, the political components that were really certainly there on the precipice of the event. And then ultimately, again, if just because it was going to be on didn't mean that everyone was going to watch, but it really did bring people together even after the U.S. bowed out. And so from, I think, all accounts, other than a few gripes here or there, generally speaking, looked at as a huge success.
Huge success. I mean, in New York, they pulled it off. And, initially I thought it was going to be a problem getting all those people out to Jersey from here in the city, but it worked out great. Numbers backed it. In fact, I think they want to do it again in 2038, I believe, here in North America again. Yeah. So that's great.
I don't know though about like how many new people got exposed in person, right? If you sort of think about it, the people who are going to go, we're going to deal with some of the hassles that we might have to be involved in getting in and the additional security, all that stuff, and the high ticket prices. I think you were getting truly that most avid fan that was in person. That doesn't mean that a lot of people didn't get more exposure, because I think a lot of people, obviously more than the hardcore, were tuning in. That's where the numbers would represent.
That's why the numbers were so good.
Huge for Fox, huge for just the sport overall. And look, that could be a catalyst, right? We're not sort of through to the other side to say it won't be that rise at the end. But I think, if you look at U.S. sports fans, we become accustomed to believing that whatever we're watching on the field or the ice or the court is the best in the world, all right? The top athletes in their sport playing.
That's right.
And MLS, even with the ascension of some of the players that have come in, it's still not at that same threshold, right? And so I think that then until we get to a point of where the gloves are off and these billionaire owners that are coming into the sport across the world are also allowed to have the same sort of transfer fees and all that. So we have one step that just happened, right? We got the change of schedule for the MLS, which now matches up for allowing them to do that.
Allowing that. That's a great analysis of it. Now we are in a Liverpool bar here, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So because I was so into the World Cup, I have become a Liverpool fan.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm going to get into the Premier League. Premier League does fine. I mean, I was looking at the ratings. They've grown by almost 100,000 viewers in 10 years since it's been on NBC. So, it's getting there. And I think because a lot of the stars, to your point, who were playing for their respective countries, play in the Premier League or they play in, with Barcelona and all this stuff. But I love your take on that. Okay, we're going to shift to the NFL, the big behemoth, right?
Yep.
I'm a little concerned about the streaming services coming in here now. I'm not concerned about it, but they're all coming in. Prime has a big package. Netflix has a package now. I mean, Apple's still kind of out of it. Peacock's in. That's right, with some playoff games. Do you potentially see all the streaming networks being the home of the NFL and like the linear networks not being a part of it anymore?
There's two things that are belief systems on my part, right? So one is traditional TV is an antiquated model.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't mean that it can't still have a place, but it is an antiquated model to think that we have an ability to program our own networks. Called the DVR, that came around a long time ago.
I remember that, yes.
And yet we still sit with 24/7 networks that don't necessarily need to be in place anymore when we can have everything at our fingertips on every other service on demand. So I want to watch it other than a live event, you can call it up whenever you want. Right?
Exactly.
So that's the world we live in, and that's the way that people have clearly said they want to consume content. And so the idea that something else, a new innovation, new model, like these big platforms, technology platforms, streaming platforms, could come in and be this disruptive is zero surprise.
Yeah.
I think the secondary component is, imagine the reversed question, which is, could you imagine the NFL or anyone not having a foot in these spaces when they have massive distribution, global capabilities?
That's true.
Programming and content that will allow for cross promotion that's better than what is on broadcast prime today. I don't see too many downsides other than the frustration of the fans flipping around to trying to find the
out
next
Netflix, Prime, because Apple's going to probably get in the game at some point. Now
we've had for years CBS, Fox, NBC, and you had to figure out, and obviously everybody did quickly, right? It's the afternoon regional games here,
NFC, right.
And I think that will start to settle in. So I guess a long-winded answer of, I don't think it's a surprise. I do think I would, if I was sitting in Goodell's seat or any senior executive on the media side of that business, I would be having a play in that seat as well.
So and that would follow-up question to that, is the Super Bowl going to be like at some point a pay-per-view event or on Netflix or on?
I mean, everything that we said wasn't going to happen as far as ESPN and others over the years moving to cable. I would think so. I mean, look, broadcast stations, hard to deny though, broadcast stations have the largest availability because in theory, again, it's free
TV,
right? And so I would still think as long as the government and the media owners have some form of relationship that can coexist, of where the broadcasters can still broadcast and be profitable businesses, then that would still be a smart play to have it as widely distributed as humanly possible. But the second best is the streamers, right? Cable is down right? And there's 100 million or whatever subscribers to Prime in the U.S.
Yep.
There are 60 million cable or pay TV, even less subscribers on that side. So some of these things are playing out on the logic side.
It's an ad spend and linear TV is going down over the last, so it's not something that, to your point, the Goodells and the smart people, they know what's going on.
And brands are finding the sports, right?
Exactly.
Those are the things that are the most relevant items around.
So I'm going to stick with sports here because I know that's what you're doing every day. NIL in college sports. I know you guys have been a lot doing that. You represent a lot of universities in that space. I mean, are we in this for the long haul here, or do you think there's going to be a commissioner coming in and trying to kind of regulate it at all?
I would be surprised, Charlie, if there wasn't more collective bargaining or some form of joint licensing or ways to organize this a little bit better. But I think we're on the precipice of this Protect College Sports Act that is going to put some guardrails, not just around NIL, but just around a lot of things to do with making the sport of college sports healthy and sustainable and enduring, right? And so I think ultimately we're in an era that does feel a bit like the Wild West. That being said, I don't begrudge any student athlete that could make money off their name, image, and likeness while they're in college, and most of which, and we've all seen the stats, 99% of them don't make a professional career out of it. And so if you have a 4-year period or 3-year period or a 2-year period while you're in college where you're marketable, who can say you can't do that, right? And so the thing that's getting conflated now is the payroll, if you will, or the revenue sharing model that is coming from the schools, and then NIL, which in theory now will be much more clear, will come from brand activation, in-kind opportunities, Toyota or someone else saying, I want to sponsor the offensive line at LSU, and I think it's representative of my trucks and the strength and blah, blah, and you make that synergy, right? And then they get some great benefit out of it, and so do the student athletes. That's going to be the more long-term sustainable model to allow for brands to feel like they're supporting the communities that they're operating the business in, and yet then the student athletes being able to profit off their name, image, and likeness.
But, I mean, as a college basketball fan, I kind of love it because, to your point, like these kids are staying in school a little bit more now because they're not going to make the NBA. Maybe
or their pay might be similar to a pro, depending upon who it is.
Why not stay and get your college degree, spend 3-4 years there?
It's the greatest institution that's ever been created.
We both had a good time. We both had a good time. Now, I was interested on that. So I want to talk a little bit more about Playfly. So it's 6 years old. You've been CEO for 3 of those years.
2 plus.
2 plus? Okay, 2 plus. So we've talked about a lot of things now. So I guess we could put a bow on it. What's next for you and Playfly moving forward?
Well, so the opportunity that we saw years ago when the company came together was the number one asset in all of sport isn't a big sign, a naming rights, a new venue, any of those things. It's the fans, right? Because at the end of the day, that's the people who are going to be the sustainable and, again, enduring parts of their business model. And that's where the highest engagement comes, is through the fans. So really, every sports property should be on a journey of how am I going to create more fan engagement, more fans. And so it's not a big surprise. You look at the valuations of the most valuable teams in the world, inclusive of the ones in the U.S., inclusive of the NFL, like you were talking about before, the Dallas Cowboys, because they have the largest identified fan base. And so if you can create more fans, you're creating more equity or more value in your property. So I think ultimately at the end of the day, what we have realized is if we can build businesses off the backs of the certainty of fandom being there, right? You might be angry, you might be upset in an off season because the way the previous season went. Opening day comes, April 1st, whatever it is, and you're going to be there as a fan, either watching on TV or in person, because it's part of who you are, right? We become fans of our pro teams, usually between 7 and 12 years old. And that's with you for the rest of your life, longer than your friendships, maybe longer than your marriage. Like things that happen like that. And then you think about it from a college perspective, you're a fan as soon as you get to 18, and so are probably mom and dad. So now we've created 3 new fans at Penn State or Texas A&M, every one of our schools in our college business, every year as we have a new entering class. So of those things, it now gives us the certainty that when we think about investing, to your point, what's next? Well, driving college and becoming a broader play to have them, the schools think of us as a much larger outsourced resource for them across ticketing, sponsorships like they have been doing, but potentially also new lines of business, licensing, merchandising, things along those lines to help them. Anything that's going to be commercialized is what we specialize in. And so how can we maximize their yield off of the available resources and new resources that they're creating? Same would go in pro, just in a little bit slightly different model. But so I think all of those things are out in front of us. We love brand consulting. We love helping brands navigate a very challenging space, right? It's not hard to tell a brand they need to invest in sports because it's delivering, but now it's getting pretty cluttered. So how do you stand out? How do you make a connection with the people that you're trying to get to? And so we're doing a lot of advisory work, a lot of thinking about driving college. Lastly, we got a media business that's really incredible when you think about, again, aggregating every Major League Baseball team, every NBA team, and every NHL team into a portfolio and talking to brands about that. I love that model, always have, right? That's where the action is, right? Cognitive connectivity, emotional connectivity, the content, that is enduring as well. So we're going to keep leaning into those, build new tools, more opportunities, more data sets, more ways to help our partners win.
Well, and you mentioned, because, from our side of the business, agencies really want local. Local is really where they want to go. So what's better than if I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and I can go to the Blue Jackets. I can do whatever I want from a local standpoint and be a part of that. I mean, I think that's really just a great way to kind of look at it.
And the only way to, I think, know each and every year, if you sort of look at our model, it's like a mutual fund or a portfolio. There's going to be a winner and a loser, but you don't know who those are going to be before the season. Who knew even in the same season? Look at the Boston Red Sox, right? They were down and out, and now they're back. And so that emotional journey is exactly what fans count on each and every year.
An opening day, whether it's football, whatever sport it is, my team's going to win it.
That's right.
And we'll talk about, I think this is the Bills' year, by the way. I'm going to tell you guys why I think it's the Bills' year.
We have a shared vision on that.
We do. We have a shared vision. But so this is great. You really gave our viewers like a really good kind of overview of what's happening in sports marketing, what you guys are doing. And I think those are great ideas. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do down the road.
Thank you.
It's time to shift gears, people. It's time to shift gears. Craig, you ready to split the G with me?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, now a little advice that I got.
Okay.
Take one more gulp than you think you should.
Okay. We'll see how this goes.
Cheers. Here we go.
I think we
both did it.
We did it. Yeah.
We split the G.
We did.
That's it. We're done here, people. No.
Well
okay,
done.
So now we have a little fun. I'm going to ask you some questions. The kind of Western New York themed.
All right.
Soda or pop?
Pop.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
A sub or hoagie?
Sub.
Yeah. I'm with you here. Now, this is chicken wing based.
Okay.
Blue cheese or ranch?
Ranch is a sin for that. It's
Thank
blue
you.
cheese only.
Did you hear that, guys?
Blue cheese only.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ranch, love it. It's a great condiment, salad, and maybe dipping veggies only.
Even French fries.
French fries,
Okay.
Don't put it on your chicken wings,
That's
people.
right.
Please. Here's a very Buffalo-oriented question.
Yeah.
Beef on weck or French dip?
No brainer. Beef on weck. I mean,
beef on
salted bun. I mean, come on. Like that's, and most people don't even know.
They don't know about it. They're like, what is this thing? It sounds like a street somewhere. No, it's not.
No.
Check the beef on weck, guys. You're really going to love it. Okay, now we're going to ask some more questions.
Okay.
First car that you ever bought, leased, whatever.
Jeep Wrangler.
Ooh, another Jeep.
Yeah. And that office I worked in, no windows.
Okay.
So I'd go in, living in Denver, Colorado, and everyone that knows Colorado weather will know this happens. I would have my top down because it was 70 and sunny, and I'd come out with a foot of snow in the car because the storm would come through later in the day, and I'd have no idea. Thank God I had that.
That's perfect. I love that. First job you ever had?
Ever. I worked 2 full weeks at McDonald's.
You did?
Yeah, my dad said, if you don't get a job, I'm bringing you down to the local McDonald's. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then I didn't do it.
Drive-through? Or
no, I was front man. I was a cashier. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
so you were on the front lines.
Front lines. And I griped enough to my mom that she got me out of it and allowed me to quit. Yeah.
McDonald's is a fine place, by the way.
It is.
I was there on Saturday, in fact.
Okay.
Very late. I was there on Saturday.
Okay.
But that's for another time. That's for another time. Okay, so what was your first concert you ever went to?
It was Prince, Purple Rain.
That's a good
Buffalo
one.
Auditorium. And Sheila E. opened. I mean, come on.
You're checking a lot of boxes
Seriously.
there, Craig.
Yeah,
that
Hall
is
of Famers right
Purple Rain. That's great.
Yeah.
Check it out, people. It's a great. What about your last concert you've been to?
Well, how about this? I have one tomorrow.
Oh, I'll count that.
Mumford and Sons at the Garden.
Love Mumford and Sons.
Yeah, looking for
Great
that
show.
one. I don't even know who's opening yet, but
doesn't matter.
It's gonna be a surprise.
Mumford and Sons is you'll love it. They're really good. I like them a lot.
Same.
All right, so favorite word. What's your favorite word?
It's in business sense, care.
Care. I love that.
I want anybody in the team, any play flyer at our company, just care. Like have a take, have a passion,
love that.
Figure it out, and if you can't figure it out, we'll help you, but care.
Care. Yeah. And alternatively, what's your least favorite word?
Business again. Should. Actually, in personal life too.
Should is
a horrible word, right? It's it's very judgmental. I should have done this. Or you should do that. It's even worse when you say you should have.
You should have.
Really judgmental. So don't say
that. I do. I like that. I like that one a lot. Okay, sticking with sports here. What would be your walk-up song? What's your walk-up song? Top of the first, Craig Sloan's batting. He's coming up to.
I mean, I guess I'll steal from Mariano and go Enter Sandman.
Go Enter Sandman?
Yeah. I mean, it's just
that's
how are you not pumping after that?
That's phenomenal. The crowd's going to be into it. You're going to,
I'd be the batter. He was the pitcher.
I love it. Yeah. I love that. All right, let's talk about the Bills. Can we talk about the Bills a little bit
for
now?
the rest of the day?
Yeah, that's going to be it, guys. So I've got a question for the Bills. What, in your estimation, what was worse? Wide right or 13 seconds?
Oh, my goodness. I don't want to cheat and say both.
Yeah, they both were bad, though.
Yeah. I think because of the expectation around the first one, because we came in, if people don't remember, in that first Super Bowl, we had won the AFC Championship 51-3 over a very good Raiders team.
Very good Raiders team, people.
And we had blown them out. We were the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl, and we had never won it. And Buffalo deserved it, and
they did.
Today deserve it.
They still deserve it.
And the wide right was just so unexpected that we were even going to be in that position, and yet to have it wasn't a chip shot. People think it was
47-yarder.
Yeah.
47-yarder.
Maybe the best jersey in all of sport, though, if you've seen it in Buffalo, I'm assuming you have as well. It's the Norwood jersey, but with this nameplate off to the right. So, I mean, people are funny.
What people don't realize about that game is the Giants had a brilliant defensive plan.
They did.
Keep the ball away from them. The Bills scored every time they had the ball. Every time they had the ball, they scored. Kelly brought them down there. And obviously
barely touched it though.
Yeah. It was now a 47-yarder today is kind of like that 35 chip shot.
I know.
30 years ago, right?
You're right.
My first Bills game, I saw O.J. Simpson play. Must have been 73, 74. I was only 2 people. I was 2 years old. But no, I remember seeing that, and we'd go to a few during the Kelly years, I'd try to go up there and go to a game all the time.
There was no table breaking back in the day.
No, it wasn't. The Bills Mafia was kind of a twinkle in somebody's eye back then, but the Bills
Mafia. It's always been crazy.
It was crazy. There was a lot of drinking going on, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the Bills were good, and then they were bad for a long time.
Yeah.
But this is why I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Now, for all you haters out there, Buffalo is the only New York NFL team, right?
Obvious. It's true. That's a literal statement.
So let's go back, if I may, Craig. Let's go back in 2024, 2025 season. The Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Championship. Tibbs was there for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
They let him go. They fired him. What happened this year with the Knicks? Knicks in 5, they win the championship.
Right coach, right time.
Right coach, right time.
Yeah.
Bills, same type of thing.
Yeah.
McDermott was there 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Got him close.
Yeah.
Couldn't get him over the hump. New coach.
Yeah.
Once again, number 2.
Yeah.
What's the last New York team that won a championship the year that they opened up a new stadium?
Giants?
2009 New York Yankees.
Oh, that's right. I was even
That's number 2, people.
How did I not get that? I was here.
Yeah, that's 2. If that's not reason alone why they win it.
It's strong.
And
by the way, Doug Collins era in Chicago.
Yes.
Switched over to Phil Jackson, and then what happened?
I'm seeing a pattern here, Craig. Something's going on with this. Anyway, so here's what I want to do. I always ask people this question.
Yeah.
So 2026, it's the 250th year of the USA.
Yeah.
If you could go back and live in any kind of era, like roaring 20s, 50s, when would it be and why? And keep in mind, you can tell me that I'm very happy with where I am.
I would probably say the 50s.
50s. Okay.
And the only thing I would miss, obviously, is that my sports craziness and
Yeah,
passion,
yeah, yes.
every game is on, right? We've all become spoiled because you can watch it on any device and do
that's
any,
true. That's
right?
true.
So,
Yeah,
and you got to go back in an era where it was either on radio or very few games were on
Yep,
TV,
yep.
game of the week. But that era of everything else just seemed pretty great and innocent. I probably am leaning on the fact that my dad and the way that he talked about it, and
I totally agree
the
with you.
sports scene and the whole thing.
Think about like rock and roll was coming
Yeah.
up. I mean, if you were here, obviously the Yankees were a powerhouse.
There was no social media.
No
There was
social-
no cell phone.
Exactly.
Like there was an innocence.
Innocent time, 50s. I mean, listen, we love technology. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this
That's
now.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's a gentler time. I mean, I think we were just coming out of World War II. I think everybody was kind of into it. That's kind of mine too. I'm kind of with you on that one. But that's going to be it, people, for this episode of Splitting the G. I want to thank Morris and Jerry from the Madison Lounge for having us up here today. Craig, thank you so much.
Of course.
It's been a great having you and talking about sports. And as I always say, people, it's nice to be important, but
it's more important to be nice.
That's it. Thanks. We'll see you next time on Splitting the G.